And you're live. Hello, boxing fans. If you can hear me, that's great news. I seem to have a bit of a technical issue here. Here we go. Thank you for joining me once again on Talkin Fight episode of Boxing News today. And unbelievably, there are news stories waiting to be heard. We're going to start off with a little item out of Kosovo because that is unbelievably where they're holding a fight tonight. Universal Boxing Organization is having a fight in Kosovo. Let me just, must be something going on here. Yeah, does that make it all better? Yes, it does. Sorry about that, folks. All boxers have weighed in for the big Universal Boxing Organization Championship doubleheader on Monday. That's tonight, December 27th, billed as Fight Night Kosovo at the Palestra Karagag in Pek. We reported on this last week, given some of the fighters' animosity toward each other. So a couple of big fights going up are the vacant UBO Youth World Super Welterweight title, featuring Edmund Zeffy up against Christian Mazon. And for the vacant UBO International Cruiserweight title, we see Labanat Shokhak versus Marco Mananen, a 200-pounder, by the way. Anyway, the promoter is Arena Ring Box Promotions and Gludjack Promotions, and we wish them well in this post-Christmas season, hoping to have a lot of fun in the ring, beating the heck out of each other. Elsewhere, some news that we oversaw, did not report on, out of South Korea on December 18th. Sung Ming Lee went up against Ja Sung Jo, and we have a result. With the establishment of the Bridgerweight division via the World Boxing Council, the ABCO, that's the Asian Boxing Council, reformulated the classification system to adapt this innovative category for professional boxing in Asia. The first match for the WBC Asia Bridgerweight title took place in Seoul, South Korea, between two top local prospects. As I said, this took place on 18th of December. Sung Min Lee and Ja Sung Jo clashed for the crown to make regional boxing history as the first ABCO champion of this new division. In a battle worthy of admiration and intense from start to finish, a 10-round bout was fought. Joe, who's 4-3-0 with 0 knockouts, was the one who had his arm raised by unanimous decision over Lee, who's 7-2-1 with 2 knockouts, to win the green and gold glory. Elsewhere on the weekend, the only fight that we knew of that was happening on Christmas Eve, that would be December 24th, took place down in Lagos, Nigeria. Rilwan Babyface Babatunde successfully defended the World Boxing Federation International Welterweight title on Friday night at the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Lagos. 25-year-old Babatunde, who won the WBF title last April, fended off the challenge of game but outclassed Ghanaian Justice Adi. After 10 rounds of boxing, judges all scored the fight 189 for the defending champion. Babatunde improved his professional record now to 14-1 with 8 knockouts, while former Ghanaian national champion Ade dropped to 16-11-1 with 14 knockouts. Elsewhere around the world, over in New Jersey on Christmas night, we saw Vito Mielnicki Jr. versus Nicholas Delomba. Rising welterweight prospect Vito Mielnicki Jr. was victorious via 10th round TKO Saturday night as he defeated Nicholas Delomba in the Fox PBC Fight Night main event and on Fox The Sport Live from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey. It was a beautiful right hand that hurt him, said Milnecki Jr. He was a tough guy and he made me work all night. At 19 years old, going 10 rounds, I felt great and my wind was great. I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I'm blessed to be in this position and we definitely can't wait to be back in 2022. Also on Christmas, we noticed that WBC super middleweight champion Saul Canelo Alvarez has been distributing thousands of toys for children in need. Good for him. The champion brought joy to youngsters in Monterey with a trailer full of toys of all kinds, driving HGV to the streets of the city for miles to win smiles. Canelo, in addition to succeeding in boxing, has done constant social work to help those in need. Now it's his turn to bring a smile to children of Nuevo Leon this Christmas, bringing them more than 5,000 toys. There's no reason to thank me. I do not need a thank you because I did it from the heart. I do what I can for the people who need it. Wherever I can, I'll be supporting them. Thank you for receiving me and have a Merry Christmas, said Canelo. And there's some great shots on the boxing247.com website of the children receiving their gifts from Canelo directly. Fantastic job. Well done. Elsewhere around the world, speaking of Canelo, former IBF super middleweight world champion Caleb Sweet Hands Plant returned to his hometown after a historic hard-fought battle against Canelo on November 6th to host his second holiday ham giveaway in his hometown, Ashland City Courthouse. Plant arrived at yesterday's event with his father and coach Richie and wife Jordan, who immediately felt the love and support of the families lined around the courthouse. The former champion took a moment to show his gratitude to the county that raised him before handing out hams. He said, "I appreciate you all and all the support you've given me throughout the years," said Plant. "I just wanted to come home and help people who might be having a tough time right now. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. We've all been there, myself included. If I have a chance to help, I'll always do it. I love you all and appreciate you." Plant is known as a hero to many people across Tennessee due to his many successes in the ring, but primarily because of his character out of the ring. Another figure in the city who welcomed Plant with open arms was Cheatham County Mayor Kerry McCarver, who proclaimed his love and support for the Ashland City native. Good for boxing, both those champs going at it in their hometowns, giving away to those in need. Elsewhere around the world, on December 23rd, Umar Kremlev paid an official visit to Baku to hold meetings with sports officials, National Federation boxers, and coaches of Azerbaijan. Mr. Kremlev was hosted by the Minister of Youth and Sports of Azerbaijan Republic, Farid Gaibov, who expressed his full support for the development of boxing in the country. Boxing is a very promising sport in Azerbaijan. We observe with interest the progress made by the IBA this year, closing the debt and creating an impressive prize fund for their athletes. We look forward to next year as IBA continues to take confident steps towards a brighter future for this sport, Mr. Gaibov said. Mr. Kremlev said, "I am grateful for the opportunity to discuss future cooperation with the Minister of Sports and grateful to the President and government of Azerbaijan. Creating and improving conditions for our boxers is our main objective, which is why during my visits to different countries, I always initiate meetings with athletes and coaches to speak with them directly." And you know what? As a sidebar, I'd like Mr. Kremlev to visit Canada one day. Elsewhere, it looks like we have a new signing out of Top Rank. Luis Alberto El Venado Lopez, the fast-rising featherweight from Mexicali, Mexico, has signed a new multi-year promotional contract with Top Rank. The 28-year-old Lopez, who's 24-2 with 13 knockouts, ranked the IBF #1 featherweight contender, broke out from the 126-pound pack in 2021. He began his campaign on March 18th with a first-round knockout over countryman Mario Loreto in Mexicali. His breakthrough performance, though, came on September 10th in Tucson, Arizona, when he battered the then undefeated prospect Gabriel Flores Jr. over 10 rounds en route to a unanimous decision. And less than 3 months later, he punched his passport once again and knocked out the previously unbeaten Isaac Lowe at the historic York Hall in London. Lopez said, "I'm thankful to Bob Arum, Brad Goodman, and everyone at Top Rank. 2022 is the year I achieved my dream of becoming a world champion. Kiko Martinez is a great champion, but he's the man standing in my way. Next year, I'll bring that IBF title home to Mexicali." Let's see if that happens. Elsewhere, in Orlando, Florida, we have news that Ali Izmailov is going up against Israel Duffus on January 7th. Yes, on January 7th. That's a Friday night, 2022. Power punching WBC number 13 and WBO number 14 light heavyweight contender Ali Izmailov will return to action in a tough matchup against transplanted Panamanian veteran Israel Duffus on the untelevised undercard of the Showbox, the Next Generation 2022 kickoff episode. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern Time from the Caribe Royal Resort in Orlando, Florida. Izmailov, who's 6-0 with 4 knockouts from Mount Gobov, Russia, and Duffus, who's 20-7 with 17 knockouts, and he's now living in Los Angeles, will be fighting in support of the history-making Showbox event, in which, for the first time in the 20-plus year history of the series, all 6 fighters enter the fight night without a loss. The Rumble at Caribe Royale, presented by Samson Boxing. Izmailov appears courtesy of Salida Promotions. We'll see the Dominican Republic battle Puerto Rico in 10-round featherweight main event, as Puerto Plata's Luis the Twist Nunez, who's 15-0 with 11 knockouts, meets Trujillo Alto Carlos, the Chosen One Arrieta, who's 14-0 with 8 knockouts, in the middle of the ring. The co-feature pits the Dominican Republic's Starling Castillo, who's 16-0 with 12 knockouts, against County of Georgia's Otar Iranosian, who's 10-0 with 6 knockouts, in an 8-round lightweight bout. And in the telecast opener, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic knockout artist Edwin de los Santos, who's 13-0, 12 knockouts, battles William the Silent Assassin Foster III, who's 12-0 with 8 knockouts. He's out of New Haven, Connecticut. It's an 8-round super featherweight showdown. Wow, that's a great lineup. 7th of December, put it in your calendars. And for the last item of the day, comes out of UK. Daniel Dubois is set for a breakthrough year in 2022, with his promoter Frank Warren predicting significant world title action before the new year is out. Up there with the world's most explosive heavyweights, Daniel Dubois blasted his way back into contention with 2 bludgeoning victories in 2021 against Bogdan Danu and Joe Cazimanu that lasted a combined 5 minutes and 41 seconds. Still just 24, he placed the heavyweight planet on notice that he is back with a bang following his sole setback against fellow Briton Joe Joyce in late 2021 with a severe injury to his left eye, forcing him to take himself out of the firing line. Formerly the holder of the WBC Silver, WBO International, Commonwealth, and British titles, Dubois secured the WBA Interim World Championship in his return fight against the rated Romanian Dinu. The WBA have since withdrawn interim belts, and Dubois has been formally placed in the number 1 spot to challenge a champion who is currently the unbeaten American Trevor Bryan. Dubois is set to return to a British ring in early 2022 after announcing himself to an American audience last August with an appearance against Cazimanu in Cleveland on a show headed by Jake Paul that was screened across Showtime pay-per-view in the United States. It represented a big box ticket for the young Londoner, who knows the might of the American audience behind him will only bolster his reputation and earning potential ahead of any forthcoming world title challenges. Frank Warren, his promoter, said, "Daniel will be right back in business on one of our first shows of 2022. He has rebuilt this year in spectacular fashion and is now right in the running for a world title shot in the new year. The WBA is the obvious path for him to go down, as he has been installed in the #1 spot by virtue of him winning the interim title, and a fight against the champion Brian clearly appeals to us. Right. Well, thank you very much for joining me once again on Talkin' Fight. Boxing News Today comes back tomorrow, same time, same bat channel. Remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you very much.